Woo, doggy. It is a hot one. Look at that. Air temp 101. It's September 20th. Good morning, bird brains, and welcome back to the extremely dirty Battle Donkey. Today we're going to talk about basically our upcoming trip and kind of the revival of the channel. Let's get into it. So in case you do not follow me on Instagram, which I know a lot of you don't, just based off of pure numbers, but that's the easiest way for me to kind of stay in touch with you guys when I'm not out, you know, making videos and stuff, which right now has been just extremely difficult due to my current living situation, which we will talk about here in a second. But yeah, if you have an Instagram, go over there and follow me. I don't post much, just little. I only post when I need to, like when I want to, you know, update you guys or things like that, and the occasional cute Luna picture. But I'm gonna try to be more active on that, as well as Twitter and Facebook and all that. But it's time for me to come back home, guys. I have been missing YouTube as a whole, just building bikes, riding bikes. I want to get back into it so bad. I'm a little over the dirt scene, which we will talk a little bit more about that. Not because of the activity. It'll make more sense when I talk about it. It probably won't be all on this video, but I'll probably tease it closer to the end. But I really want to focus more on the street bikes, the Harleys. It's one of those things that you don't really know how much you miss it until you get a little taste of it. So like, I rode this bike probably like 20 minutes the other day, and I was only planning on being gone for like 3. I wanted to make sure that everything was running through the bike good. I had to drain the tank. Well, I didn't have to, but I chose to drain the tank and put injector cleaner through it and all that stuff, because the bike sat for probably close to a year. It started here and there. God, this road is dangerous. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but there's little patches of gravel everywhere, and I'm really having to pay attention. But I started a few times throughout the year just to make sure that it didn't, you know, seize up or anything major. But I've seen how bad or how quickly gas will go bad if you're actually using ethanol fuel, which I usually do, because the only difference between ethanol fuel and non-ethanol fuel for the modern user, aka anybody with a modern bike or anything like that, anything that's fuel injected, ethanol fuel is fine. The only bad thing is it's terrible for storage. So if you're not riding your bike regularly or driving your car regularly, it's better to go with the non-ethanol fuel. I learned that lesson the hard way with the dirt bikes, which it is fuel injected, but I let it sit during my injury when I broke my back, and that fuel separated so fast. Even with a stabilizer in it, it separated really fast. So I wouldn't say lesson learned, because I wasn't planning on leaving the bike that long. If I would have drained the tank right at that time. But I mean, it was fine. I only had about a gallon in it, so it wasn't too bad. So I sucked that out, put some fresh 93 in there with some octane booster and some fuel injector cleaner, and she runs just fine. The only thing I haven't checked, which probably should have checked before I came into this ride, but I didn't check my tires. I still need to check my tires, but I have the Phobos on them, so I feel like if they, well, unless I change phones, which I think I did. But yeah, I still need to check my tires. But other than that, I checked over everything, you know, checked over all of the notoriously loose connections and all that, just for a little bit extra peace of mind, because going back to why I started this video with, if you don't follow me on my Instagram, we are going to the Tail of the Dragon. Another bike and bird road trip is finally happening. You guys loved the Big Bend trip. You guys loved the Arkansas trip. You liked both of the world record trips. So I know you guys are going to be excited for this one. Kind of a notorious biker road, Tail of the Dragon, over, I believe it's on the Tennessee-Georgia border. I'm going to be completely upfront with you guys. I don't know a ton about the road. I know it's a very twisty road. I know it's one of the most popular motorcycle roads, but outside of that, I'm not too keen as far as where it is or anything like that. But I know a lot of you guys have ridden it. A lot of guys have told me, hey, you got to go do this one. And it's East Coast. I've never done anything East Coast, so I'm really excited to check some new states off my list, both on just my personal bucket list as well as my biker bucket list. I will hopefully be able to add some stickers to the fairing here. This trip was originally planned for fall of 2020, but as all of you guys know, that did not work out. But it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because I think we did the math, and I think Luna would have been born on the trip, or like the week after the trip, or week before, something like that. So there was more pressing matters that needed to be taken care of. Hey, I wonder if this still works. It does. Awesome. Okay, now that's exciting. But yeah, like I said, this was originally a 2020 plan, but it got canceled, and now we are back on the books for fall of 2021. I can't believe it is already fall, guys. I feel like this year flew by even quicker than... Wait, did last year fly by, or did it seem like it took forever? I can't remember. There was a lot of stuff going on in my life, so if I just think back personally, I feel like it flew by, but who knows how it felt in the moment. So I know a lot of you are going to hate this, but it is what it is. We are going to be trailering there. We made that decision pretty early on in the planning. We rode to Arkansas 750 miles one day, and don't get me wrong, I could do it again. I probably will do it again at some point, but I don't like riding to riding destinations. Now, riding to like a rally, like somewhere that doesn't have good roads, like Florida, I probably would ride and just stay in Florida for a few days, but riding to a riding location, to me, especially with a group of, I think we got like 10, 12 people going, it's exhausting. It's like herding cats for an entire 14, 16-hour day, and it just kind of made the first couple days after the trip just not as fun as it could be. I don't have any shame in trailering. I don't have any of the machismo, oh, you're not a real biker if you don't ride. I rode a 72 sporty hardtail cross and you're a pussy if you don't. I just, whatever. Okay, Boomer, that's great, but I want to go to places to have fun and enjoy the ride and actually want to go out and do the rides. So we're gonna save the miles on the bike till we get there. So I believe we're staying in Alabama or Mississippi. How do you say Hattiesburg? Is it Mississippi? Yeah, definitely Mississippi. On the first day, getting into Pigeon Forge is where we're staying, and then we're spending about 5 or 6 days there, and then another 2-day drive back, but we're taking a different route back. We'll be staying in Hot Springs, Arkansas, I believe, just so we can get a little bit different views and check off some different highways off of our list and things like that, because I mean, let's admit it, when you're on a road trip with all of your best friends, even if you're in the car, it's still a good time. And then basically every day that we're there, I think every day except one day, we have rides planned. So I mean, we're going to get to see a lot of the surrounding areas and things like that. Of course, we're doing Tail of the Dragon. I don't know exactly what that entails, if it's like Three Sisters or there's multiple roads. Like I said, I'm pretty ignorant on this topic. I actually let Mrs. Bird handle most of the planning, just because I've planned the previous trips and I just didn't want to go through that again. So I'll let Mrs. Bird take the reins, and she just kind of got my write off on most of the things. It looks like she did a great job just by what I've seen. I'm actually really excited of our non-riding day, because the town that is next door, I don't remember if it's actually Pigeon Forge or Hattiesburg, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. It's a very, very, very popular tourist destination. Quick side note, I want to do a video in this place. It's about to open. They've got a lot of very nice classic cars in there. Sorry, squirrel. But yeah, it's a very popular tourist destination, and they have a lot of those mountain coasters, I believe is what they call them. If you don't know what mountain coaster is, here's a video of that. It's basically like a single-seater roller coaster that uses the mountain's elevation change to actually power the car. So I don't know why I'm so excited about that. I'm almost 30 years old, but hey, who doesn't like roller coasters, especially when you get to control the speed of them? You're basically just free falling and controlling the brake. I'm gonna tell my guys, no brake, full send, pussy. But I'm sure I'm sure we'll need to use the brakes. Guys, I am not joking when I say it is just uncomfortably hot today. We've actually had a pretty mild summer in retrospect, but the days that it does get hot, man, it's a different kind of hot. It's all humidity. Thought that was my bike for a second. But yeah, Tail the Dragon, man. I can't believe it's finally happening. I've been wanting to do this ride for a while. In regards to that, I don't want to just sit here and harp on Tail the Dragon. I'm going to have a probably at least 3-part video series coming out showing everything we did. So let's talk and let's move on from that. Some future trips that we are kind of slowly starting to plan is, I believe we're going to do Colorado next. We'll probably do a early fall, maybe late summer next year for Colorado. I think that's kind of what everyone is leaning towards right now. Let me know down in the comments, where do you think we should go next? All right, so my current living situation. As most of you know, I have recently moved. That's why you're seeing the not so glorious town of Luling, Texas. I'm just kidding. It's not that bad of a town. It's just a small town in Texas. That's what you get. But yeah, we moved out to, we actually moved out to Kingsbury, which is an even smaller town just outside of Luling. And the reason that I'm having trouble kind of recording and uploading videos at this new location is kind of twofold. One of the reasons is that our internet out here is just really bad. We're on satellite, so download speed is actually not too bad. We can stream Netflix and stuff like that. But the upload speed is 3 megabytes per second. I'm not exaggerating. That is literally the number that is on the brochure. 3 megabytes per second. And yeah, it's rough trying to upload a video. It takes, 6 to 8 hours. So I can usually just hit it to upload before I go to bed. That's usually our best chance because it's lower traffic anyways. But remembering to get up and set that, I really wish YouTube would allow you to schedule an upload process. Of course, you can schedule something that's already been uploaded, but I really wish they would be a little bit more conscientious about their users in a more rural area that don't have the large capacity to upload. But the other side of things is that we're actually still in our quote-unquote temporary house. So quick rundown in case you haven't watched any of the Gone Country episodes, which if you haven't, you should. They're actually pretty good. Basically, we bought a 10-acre piece of land. It had 2 mobile homes on it, a really nice single-wide 1,300 square foot newer single-wide 2016 model. It's really nice. It's got up like high-end appliances and finishes and all that good stuff. The other house is a double-wide, but it's a 2001. Sorry, had to turn around there. The other building is a double wide, but it's only 1,100 square feet, and it was made in 2001. So it's 20 years old. It's actually in really good condition. I'm not gonna lie. It's in great shape for being 20 years old. It definitely took care of itself better than I did. But our plan was to sell the double wide and bring in a brand new double wide, a little bit larger, probably in the 1,800, 1,900 square foot range, for myself, Alicia, Luna, and our 2 dogs, and then eventually sell off the single wide to my parents. It's on the kind of the opposite side of the property. That way we can be really close to them and have them help with Luna, and we can help them when it gets time to, be constantly going to doctor's visits, things like that. My dad kind of caught on to, he's like, so you're basically just putting us in a home, but we're doing it before we need to, and it's not going to be a home. I'm like, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Have you guys close now to help with Luna, and then when you guys get older, well, you'll be close for us to help you out. It's a good situation, and they were all on board for it, so they went ahead and sold their house, got great price for it, thanks to our buddy Josh Boggs over there at Exposed Homes, shout out, and they have now moved out to the property. The problem is that we sold the double wide probably about 4 to 5 weeks ago, and it's still sitting on our property. It's already paid for. The people have already given us money and everything, and it's already sitting in our bank account and all that. But the issue that we're having is that the buyers are putting that double wide, they're moving that double wide to a plot near Austin, and Austin, just like San Antonio, is growing exponentially fast, way faster than any of the infrastructure can keep up with, including the permit office. They originally had gotten an ETA of, I think they said 6 to 8 weeks, or no, 5 to 7 weeks originally. So 5 weeks was last week, and they called us on Friday and they said that they're asking for 2 more months, and Mrs. Bird said, you guys have 10 days. Unfortunately, I don't know if we got anything in writing on like it has to be off at a certain time. I'm sure there's laws around what we can do with it, and you know, small claims court and all that nonsense, but we want to be reasonable people. We don't want to force them to have to do something that they don't want to do, but at the same time, it's like my parents are now living in their RV next door to the single wide while we live in the single wide, so it's starting to become an inconvenience for us. Plus, just living in a temporary household is rough because like we don't have any dressers or drawers or like anything like that, so it's a very primitive, quote-unquote, living for us. We've been living out of suitcases since June 28th, so we're coming up on 3 months now, and I'm about done with it. But with that being said, a lot of our stuff is still packed up in storage, which thankfully we had the pods, so the storage units are on our property, so if we really absolutely need anything, we can go out there and dig in it, but it's 100 degrees out, and it's about 140 inside that storage unit. It's not a fun time. I actually did it this morning because I needed my audio recorder for Tail the Dragon, because we are all still rocking our Cardo Pack Talk Bowls. All of them started right up. We didn't have any issues getting them updated, even after not using them for over a year and a half. So shout out Cardo once again for making a great solid product. But anywho, packed up in those storage units is still a lot of my camera gear. I have gotten out most of it at this point. It was a lot worse earlier in the year, but finally one day I just bit the bullet and went out there for, I don't even think I went out there for my camera equipment. I think I went out there for something else, but while I had boxes pulled out and everything, I just went ahead and yanked out the camera gear as well. So that of course rendered some issues with, you know, not having a certain tripod or a certain mount, but I'm pretty sure I got everything I needed this time, so hopefully that will not be causing an issue any longer. But really, that internet issue is probably going to be an issue for a while. We did sign up for Starlink, which is the SpaceX project satellite internet. It actually should be coming pretty soon. They said end of Q3 of this year, which is, I think, Friday or Saturday. While I'm recording this, it probably will already be Q1 by the time you see this. But ever since we signed up, we really haven't had any updates or anything like that, so maybe they're a little bit behind schedule, maybe not, who knows. But that supposedly is 100 download, 100 megabyte download, 100 megabyte upload, so that would help a lot. Alright, so moving on, I wanted to get your guys' opinion on a project that I've been working on for a couple weeks at this point. I wanted to start a new series called History from the Highway, where essentially I will just be riding around the highways of Texas and possibly further, but cruising around the highways of Texas and visiting all the state historical markers. Now, Texas has, I don't know if every state has these, so if it's, I'll go ahead and explain it just a little bit. That way, in case this is a foreign topic for you guys, you kind of have an idea what I'm talking about. Historical markers are basically just these plaques that we have around the state that will signify like where an important event or something happened, like a U.S. Army general in the Civil War or something like that, and they were born in this cottage or whatever. The cottage will have like a little plaque that goes next to it that says, oh, so-and-so was born here on this day. But they'll do those for everything, like for grave sites and historic churches and buildings and all kinds of stuff. And I'm kind of a history nerd. I really enjoy history, especially Texas history and local history. I did a little bit of research, and within like 100 miles of me, I have something like 8,000 of these historical markers. Like, something stupid about it. I don't know if I'm exaggerating on that number, but it was enough to where I can have some content for a good while. And basically what I would do is I would pick a certain topic or something of that nature. For example, I've picked, I'm trying to think of some of the episode names I've come up with already. One of them was like historic buildings of Guadalupe County or something like that. And basically just make a list and then go to each site and just tell you a little bit about it. I'll, of course, read off the plaque and then show you the building. I was thinking about maybe doing some cool drone shots around some of the sites, and really just kind of trying to continue the story. I mean, if it was historic enough to have a historical marker, then it's probably a story that needs to be, you know, told. So I figured it'd be a good way for me to expand my knowledge of local history, along with, you know, exposing some of you guys to some history that you might never have even heard of or anything like that, since it's a local historical marker. But from there, I want to do bigger projects, like go to the Alamo, or maybe like the location of the Battle of San Jacinto, where Texas won its independence, or I don't know, maybe start doing some East Coast stuff and do some Civil War sites or something like that. Just have the destination be historical sites, basically. And I kind of want to have it in like a Discovery Channel style format, like do like official voiceovers and actually do like a little bit of research behind the scenes. So like if the plaques are usually pretty sparse, they're usually pretty direct and to the point, but I would come and show you the location, and while I'm showing you the B-roll and things like that, I would do just a quick voiceover of a little bit more in-depth dive, maybe just some things that I found more interesting than what was on the plaque, just a little bit of supplemental knowledge. I think I have like 8 or 10 episodes already kind of planned out as far as the locations I would hit, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's starting to cool down here in Texas. Well, I say that after I think today is supposed to be the hottest day of the year. We already hit 101. Heat index I think was 107, and it's September 20th when I'm recording this. But we should be cooling down within the next couple of weeks. Once we get into the new house and everything, things will kind of settle down. It's going to be a really busy quarter 4 for us. We have to get the new house moved on, and then at that point we will be able to start doing prep work and everything for the garage. Now I've made some plan changes as far as the garage. I think I am going to incorporate the metal shop into the same building, because some other things are happening with the other building, but it's still, I'm very excited to get back to building bikes and things of that nature, and get you guys another build series going pretty soon. I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. I'm kind of torn on some ideas of what I want to do. I've got basically 3 ideas. I want to do a that's definitely something I'd be interested in, but I need to kind of focus on my health a little bit. The reason why I could potentially be done with dirt bikes, and like I said, this is all potential, this is nothing set in stone, but I have officially been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis in my hands, in my thumb joint. So I was having some issues, even before I broke my back, I was having some issues with my hands. If you watched any of my dirt bike videos, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, it's gotten so much worse now that I can only ride a dirt bike for about 2 minutes, and we're not talking arm pump here. This is, I get this when I'm holding sandwiches while I'm eating. It's anything with the pincher or pincer motion. Anytime I'm putting pressure on that bottom joint, it starts to get pretty painful pretty fast. And when I'm riding dirt bikes, it's, you know, gripping hard and things like that, which I know is not good, but I'm not at the point yet where I can really grip softly, and even if I could, that really wouldn't be a huge help. I've been riding this Harley for about 40 minutes now, and I'm already starting to feel some pain, and I'm not even using my thumbs. I don't know if you've been noticing, but I'm dangling my thumbs. I kind of want to just test out to see how long I can ride the bike before I have to call it quits. I could probably go for another 30 minutes to an hour if I absolutely had to, but it's not fun, guys. having something as stupid as that threaten your hobby and your lifestyle, it's not great. Basically, I went in to see a rheumatologist, and that's when she confirmed I had it, but she also did a follow-up test. From what she described it as, is that it's kind of a really accurate test to see what level of treatment they need to do. She said it's basically like, or she used a hunting analogy that I kind of liked, but I kind of added onto it. It's basically like, we don't know the size of our prey just yet, so we don't know if we need a 22 or we need a 50 cal, you know, like we don't know what we're fighting. And rheumatoid arthritis, for those who don't know, is a autoimmune disease. So basically your own immune system starts attacking your joints, and it's the exact opposite of osteoarthritis. Instead of adding bone or adding stuff around the joint, it's basically eating stuff around the joint and making more bone-to-bone contact. But she said we have to wait for those results before we really have any idea of the severity of it. But for the time being, I've been asked to stay off the dirt bike for now. She said that she doesn't technically want me riding Harleys, but I told her I would be really gentle on the thumbs and not go hard, and that's why you can see I'm kind of dangling my thumbs and pretty much just use my 4 other fingers on each hand. But I don't know if I'm just mentally not accepting it, like I don't believe that it's true that I could be done with dirt bikes, or if I'm just looking at it as a sigh of relief, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had just a tremendous time. I've met amazing people. I've had some of the best weekends of my life, but it's all been really painful, whether it be my hands or, you know, broken ribs, or having my dad have torn muscles, or I'm ready to get back to more creative things more than competitive things, if that makes sense. I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that maybe this is a sign from the universe to, you know, take a step back and think about what do I really want to do, what really makes me happy. And I mean, I've never had a bad time on an OG trip, if you can believe that. Oh, speaking of OGs, one thing I forgot to mention earlier about the Tail of the Dragon, all OGs will be present with the exception of Mr. Johnny Roadblock. Fortunately, he had a work engagement that he could not get out of. That happened to land on the same day, and this was way after we had scheduled it, and he had actually gotten a new job, so he didn't really, you know, have the seniority or anything like that to get the time changed. I don't know if it was a conference or a meeting or what have you, but him and his wife will not be joining us for this trip. But supplementing in his spot, we have, oh hi Mark.
Oh hi Mark.
That's right, guys. Mark K will be coming on the trip with us, as well as another Patreon that you guys have seen in a few of the videos. Miss Rosie and her wife will be joining us as well. Those two were also the ones that joined us in our Arkansas trip. They are good people. They are fun people. When we go on these trips, we get really nice big rental homes, and sometimes we'll have some free beds here and there, so we'll offer it up to some of our close friends to try and make the trip a little bit more affordable and just overall better time. And last but not least, hopefully you've already noticed, because of this second camera, which is already at 7%. Hey, that's why I hate using GoPro batteries. I got a new helmet. That's actually the reason why I'm taking this ride today, is to test out the mic setup and everything on this new helmet. Inside, it sounds absolutely amazing. I'm not gonna dive into a huge review right now, but a lot quieter than the Simpson and a lot more comfortable. This is the Shoei GT Air 2, but of course I will put a good amount of miles on it before I give you guys my full and honest review. But other than that, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. My goodness, I talked for 45 minutes. I know it wasn't that long in the video because I edit the videos. You're welcome. Well, guys, keep a lookout for those Tail of the Dragon videos. They should be coming out within about a week or two from seeing this video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, go ahead and punch that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.